Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn. Our guest, Dr. Paul D. Corona, MD, author of The Mind and Body. It's a trilogy designed for both doctors and patients to learn about how hormonal imbalance can cause a wide variety of problems, from depression and anxiety. And that's what we're discussing today. If everybody is anxious, Dr. Paul, is that necessarily a bad thing? I mean, we said that, we're all stressed. Are we anxious as well?
A lot of us are, and again, a lot of it's normal, just normal day-to-day anxiety. But the problem is when it shouldn't be overwhelming our day, and it shouldn't keep us from working and doing what we need to do. So this is when anxiety becomes a problem, is when it starts to interfere with functioning, and it starts to interfere with people's jobs and incomes and relationships. And that's when we know the anxiety is a problem, is when it's not under control. And I try to help patients to be able to control their anxiety.
We've talked about this a couple times already. During the next hour, we're going to be talking with a bee rescuer. Okay, and I admit it. I'm afraid of bees. I don't like them. I know we need them, but
me too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're the same way. They should stay in their hive and pollinate the food, then go home. But when we were on a ranch. And we were introduced to a guy, and in one arm he's holding a baby. And what was she, Daryl, 3 or 4 months old? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And on his other side, there were like half a dozen bees crawling around on his shirt.
And they weren't the ones with the little cute H on their back. They were the ones with the lines. And
yeah,
growing up, those were the bad ones, I was told. Yeah.
Yes, they were. I mean, they weren't from Cheerios, They were not. And he was just talking to us, and I said, you have some bees on you. He goes, yeah, I know. They follow me around. He has been stung, but he was telling, he told us at the time, if they come near you, just ignore them. Or you can even say hi. The anxiety level, when I heard a buzzing, went up in my ear. I mean, is that normal? Is that fight or flight that we talked about in our last segment? Right,
and those symptoms are rapid breathing, sweating, shaking, heart racing. Those are the symptoms of adrenaline surge in our body when we have stress.
Put us near bees, and that's exactly what happens. But that's a normal thing, I would think.
It's normal. It's common. I mean, and I've been stung a couple times, and I didn't enjoy it, and so I don't like any flying insects. I'm not a fan of.
My wife gets all the insects at our house. I'm serious. I don't do bugs. What is the levels of anxiety? I mean, we've talked about. I mean, we talked about somebody who refuses to leave their house, or refuses to drive in a car, or fly in an airplane because of the anxiety. Is that the extreme of anxiety?
Well, those are some of the most common. Flying is one of the most common up there with public speaking. But when it gets bad and extreme, it's like people with agoraphobia, where they literally cannot leave their house or for fear that something out there is going to happen. And fear of some people just fear of public places, fear of yeah. And there's like anything I see, there's mild, moderate, severe panic disorder. Some people have severe panic attacks. And they can be crippling because they're so afraid of being somewhere where it happens that they become dysfunctional because they can't leave their home.
So a panic attack is a high form, if you will, of anxiety.
Yes.
Exactly. It's just how you're mentally coping with a situation.
Right.
You've been fired.
Right.
Something like that.
Right.
And so when you have a panic attack, well, we're out of time. We'll have to talk about that sometime, because I'd like to know what the symptoms of a panic attack are. I don't think I've ever had one.
Read chapter 4.
Read chapter 4. Ah, that's what I should do. Chapter 4 in book number 2 of Healing the Mind and Body by Dr. Paul D. Corona. If you want information on Dr. Paul, go to latenighthealth.com under P for ball, and you'll see all the information you want to know. He's also on our homepage, and you can click right to his link. Dr. Paul, we'll talk next week. We'll talk about insurance and how it's changed since you've been in practice.
Sounds great.
A little bit different. Hold on a second, okay? I'm Mark Alyn, and that wraps up this edition of Late Night Health. We will be back next week. I'm Mark Alyn. Have a great week. Have a healthy week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.